In 1856, Bear Valley saw its first skier. Norwegian-born John Tostetson was later known as John Snowshoe Thompson. For 20 years, Snowshoe Thompson traversed the Sierra in winter, using 10-foot skis and a long single pole, delivering mail and packages sometimes weighing as much as 90 pounds. He farmed near Markleeville in Alpine County until his death in 1876. Prior to Thompson's death, Harvey Blood bought a meadow named Grizzly Bear Valley where Snowshoe Thompson would ski during his winter mail routes. He opened a toll station and a hospitality operation at what is now Bear Valley. Little did Blood know that within 90 years, the area would be transformed into something altogether different. Gustav and Christina Schemke immigrated from Russia. They had 9 children. 3 of the children, Art, Harry, and Reuben, moved to Tamarack Camp in the mid-1930s. Eventually, they built the first of their cabins in Tamarack in 1937. During the summer, the brothers worked for the Forest Service, often working on fire suppression and trail work. In the winter, they skied. The brothers patrolled the high country, observing the snowpack by taking measurements of the snow depth and reporting their findings to the U.S. Forest Service and utility companies to project spring and summer runoff. They used wooden skis and bear trap bindings and poles made of bamboo stalks. For climbing steeper hills, they would tie the rope around their skis to break the glide. The Schemke boys and their friends would ski from Camp Connell to Tamarack and then take trips to Mosquito Lakes, Wheeler Peak, Mount Reba, and the surrounding areas. They were charter members of the first ski club along the pass and embodied all that was right about being mountain people with a true passion for the beauty and majesty of the Sierras. And when World War II erupted, Art and Reuben served with the 10th Mountain Division and Harry in England. After the war, the brothers returned to the mountains. After many years skiing along the Ebbetts Pass corridor, one of the brothers had a vision. In time, Harry Schemke would share that vision with 2 other men that would change Bear Valley and Ebbetts Pass forever. In 1953, Valley rancher, college football star, and avid skier Bruce Orvis and his father Bill purchased 400 acres in Bear Valley from the Bishop Mining Company, who had bought it from Harvey Blood in 1920. The purchase included the meadow, Osborne Ridge to the southeast, and a slope north of Ebbetts Pass, and an area north that would become Bear Valley's old sub. Later that year, Orvis met Harry Schemke, who worked at the U.S. Forest Service in Hathaway Pines. Orvis had heard of the Schemke brothers and respected their knowledge of the mountains, and in particular their expertise of the Bear Valley Tamarack area. In the late to mid-1950s, Bruce, Harry, and logger Maury Rasmussen were taking ski trips into Horse Canyon, Wheeler Peak, Bull Run, and up to Mount Reba, named after Harvey Blood's daughter Reba. The word was out that the area they were skiing was some of the best in the West. Whereas Squaw Valley ski instructor Wes Thomas stated this could be one of the premier ski resorts in America. Everyone's enthusiasm was soaring. At this point, the idea for a ski resort preceded the development of a newer subdivision with resort-style amenities. Bruce, Maury, and Harry were enthused about the prospects. Soon Bruce was thinking even bigger with the idea of a combined ski area and a village resort. In time, the vision would be realized. Bruce would be president of both the Bear Valley Development Company and Mount Reba Ski Area, and Maury Rasmussen, general manager of the ski area operations. Harry and the U.S. Forest Service were still the environmental barometers and would keep an eye on the process. A great many Weasel ski trips were completed, and aerial photos were taken to show the layout of the area boundaries and lift placement. And in 1965, the U.S. Forest Service approved a prospectus for the development of Mount Reba to open during the 1967-68 season. Orvis got the nod with the Forest Service to start construction. Work started with access roads, logging the runs, placement of utilities, and then the construction of 3 double riblet chairs providing lift access to both the upper and lower mountain, thus giving the area 2,100 vertical feet of skiable terrain. The work crews tore into the project, and Maury's sons, Dennis and Clayton, friend and foreman John Burgess, and an army of help started to piece together the dream. By late summer of 1967, building the day lodge had started. It would have a flat roof and a rustic but very accommodating interior. And within a short period of time, the ski area was coming together. Now Maury Rasmussen started to build his operational team.
His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play.
In Bear Valley, Orvis was on the same timeline and putting the finishing touches on the first phase of the village development. Shops, restaurants, and a 62-room Bear Valley Lodge would be completed. And up at Mount Reba, Bob Shedd was hired as ski patrol director, along with Hugh Campbell, Phil Davis, Greg Clinton, Steve Shearer, and Dick Shedd. Rick Carney got the contract to run the ski school and race department and brought a stable of ski instructors with him, including Billy Rhodes. Maury's son Dennis Rasmussen, his wife Bonnie, Dennis's brother Clayton, and his wife Ginger would round out the key family operational team that in part would last for almost 35 years. The ski area opened on December 5th. Bruce's dream of a destination resort was realized. Lift tickets were $6.50, a private lesson was $12.50, and the resort had 40,000 skiers that season. The thing that set Mount Reba apart from other Central Sierra resorts was the higher elevation and the lower mountain. Grizzly and Snow Valley enticed skiers like Jerry Fouts to Ski Bear. It was big and it was some of the most amazing terrain in the West. Hundreds of acres of open bowls and steep chutes rang the bell. Families flocked to the ski area because it suited skiers of all abilities and talents. Families would always be the center of the Bear Valley experience. The 1968-69 season was one for the record books, and in more ways than one. The koala chair was built, giving the area 4 double riblets. And at the mountain, Bob Shedd hired Malcolm Fouts, Craig Rice, Dick Olson, and Kim Summers as new patrolmen. In a major coup, the U.S. Nationals came to Bear Valley and Mount Reba. U.S. ski team members like Hank Cashua, Spider Savage, and Billy Kidd, among other notables, competed in slalom, giant slalom, and downhill in 1969. The DH started near the top of the hill and ended at the pad at the bottom of the Grizzly chair. Bear's creative marketing efforts launched both the Ski Bear bumper sticker, often altered by Bear Valley skiers, and the Bear Bottom Betty poster. Other advertising included the Bear Valley Boys ad that featured, among things, free skiing for stewardesses. Former U.S. ski team member and Olympic bronze medalist Jimmy Huga came to Bear from his home hill in Squaw Valley in the late 1960s. Huga ran a series of summer race camps and did some marketing for Mount Reba. Lots of aspiring young racers attended these camps, which sometimes lacked snow, but never enthusiasm. Another Olympian, Nee Orsi, made his home and worked in Bear Valley. But the most amazing event that season was the snow. 70 feet of it fell that season. Caltrans road crews along Ebbetts Pass Highway 4 were challenged, and lift lines had to be shoveled out near the summit of their top stations. The all-volunteer Stockton chapter of the National Ski Patrol played a big role in the early days of Mount Reba. Without their help and ability to provide rescue and first aid services, the mountain would have had a more difficult time with its day-to-day operations. Names like Joe Ryan, Tom Oliver, Sarah Paul, Len Cook, Ritt and Jeannie Lyon were instrumental in the program's success. The sophomore beginnings of a resort community and the turbulent 60s in America were turning a corner. The Rasmussens, Bob Shedd, Malcolm Fouts, and others were working hard to make Mount Reba one of the premier ski resorts in the West. During the 1970s, another 3 riblets would be installed for a total of 7 double chairs. Kodiak on the lower mountain, Super Cub and Hibernation on the upper would complete the fleet for the decade. And the Hibernation chair would open a much-needed intermediate terrain section on the backside of the mountain. In the middle of everything was Maury, a true man's man and an engineering genius that could fix anything. He was the man on the mountain, and the mountain was on the move. But the Bear Valley Development Company was in some serious financial trouble. A case of a little too much too soon would send them into chapter filings and take them up and away. And although star-crossed in their appeal, cross-country skiing and snowmobiling would become significant additions to both the utilitarian and recreational options in Bear Valley. New fads and a new ski school lad hit Mount Reba. Peter Brinkman was handsome, charming, and had a plan to help business and promote his ski school. The son of Hollywood royalty, Peter was an architect by degree. Prior to coming to Mount Reba, he was the ski school director at Heavenly Valley, where he had a reputation as a shaker and a mover and a way with the girls, plus a lifestyle and an attitude to match. One of his famous sayings was, "I'd rather drive an old Porsche than a new Volkswagen any day." But first and foremost was a philosophy to have a great ski school, then package that reputation with week-long functions and activities to ski clubs and organizations throughout California. It worked. Peter's hard work brought hundreds of skiers to Bear Valley most weeks in the winter and became the lifeblood of midweek commerce for both the ski area and the village. To keep his ski school and race team at the highest level, Peter imported talent with the likes of John Reveal, Tim Kennedy, Dick Dorworth, Lito Flores, Jan Tischhauser, Heinz Stryker, and Roger Test. Furthermore, he developed talent from within, selectively hiring young and talented wannabes and turning them into some of the most respected instructors in the far west. John Wagnon, Jan Vandermeed, George Stone, Bob Schimke, Mike Davis, Mike Curtin, Rick White, Paul Peterson, John Hoff, Tim and Sherry Mann, and Marilyn McCann became elite instructors and coaches. And 2 of Brinkman's young protégés, Rick Ryder and Mark Phillips, were selected onto the first Professional Ski Instructors of America regional demo team in 1979. Also during this period, a long list of talented junior racers came out of Bear Valley race team. Skiing families like the Metlers, Hoffmans, Dihls, Holmeses, and the Rasmussens produced some of the best ski racers to come out of the far west region. One family in particular, the Rasmussens, were very successful. One boy in particular would become a 3-time Olympian and win the prestigious Lauberhorn Downhill and Vengens.
You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
It created a boom for disco. It also created some of the best seasons on record for snowfall and skier days in California. Sadly, Peter Brinkman would be gone back to his other ski school at Kirkwood. The ski school would see a succession of new ski school directors. First, Tim Petrick, then Phil Rotherham 2 years later. Rotherham would go on to create one of the best race service departments in the West and a great reputation. 2 new triple chairs would be added as well. Paul Peterson would partner with Jan and Eva Perelius to have one of the best cross-country centers in California. And ski patroller Phil Davis brought helicopter skiing to Bear Valley. The mountain commissioned a video and an aggressive marketing campaign that would try to show the unique connection between the village and the mountain.
U.S. demo team member Tim Petrick skis a Bear Valley Challenge. The Bear facts are these. This marvelous area, situated as it is in one of the least spoiled sections of the California Sierra, is wonderfully diverse. should you find yourself undecided about where to ski, think Bear.
It's better than the beach.
Think Bear, where a 5-minute lift line is unusual. If another area is pleasant but small, think Bear, with its 25 miles of skiable terrain. One run alone is 3 miles long. Another drops 2,100 vertical feet through advanced terrain. Bear Valley has chair capacity to lift 12,000 skiers per hour without lines. Bear Valley is complete, a destination resort.
I don't think there's a place that could touch Bear Valley anywhere, certainly in this state or any of the states that are close to us.
Racing again. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go!
In my life, I'm racing, okay? I'm scared.
Push out your heels. Wow.
3, 2,
go, 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 go! Go, 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 go!
Push. Straighten those legs. Oh, you did it. Just in time, boy. That snow monster was coming.
For the telemark turner, the cross-country skier, Bear Valley offers over 90 kilometers of groomed cross-country trails. Night and day, inside and out. It's there. It's yours.
There's no need for a vehicle here. When you come to Bear Valley, it's a place to come, park the car, and enjoy Bear Valley.
Bear Valley is part family resort, with lodging, shops, stores, restaurants, an abundance of gentle and intermediate slopes. But Bear has another part, the great growling grizzly part. This is the Grizzly Challenge.
Two very special people who truly cared about the town and the mountain lent their celebrity and their personalities to the area during this decade. Participants in the early celebrity pro-am races in the 1970s, actors Robert Conrad and Lloyd Bridges donated their time, money, and in Bob's case, his craft, to shining the light onto Bear Valley and Mount Reba. For many years, they hosted a new version of the celebrity pro-am format because they wanted to share with others what they knew, that this area was special.
The Hollywood glitterati really do have it all, even a special hideaway to escape the pressures of Tinseltown. This is Bear Valley, California, the secret Switzerland in their own backyard that's fast becoming the newest, trendiest hideaway for the stars to be at home with each other.
It's a quiet life, and you have a lot of time to think and really dig down a little deep and find out where the values really are. But the people here, I think it was one of the reasons why we decided to build was we made so many nice friends.
Two special friends are Bonnie and Dennis Rasmussen, who run the Celebrity Lodge here at Bear Valley. It's the nightly meeting place for celebrity weekenders who know they'll find a warm welcome among equally famous faces. It's a place they can kick back and act real down home.
These people are real people just like us, and they want something special. And I think if we could, here in Bear Valley, can share it with them, we should.
There are 21 miles of spectacular ski runs for showbiz ski bums, and when majestic Mount Reba sheds her winter coat, Bear Valley takes on an altogether different dimension.
It's wonderful in the summertime, too. There's a group of us that play tennis here. We got about 6 tennis courts. The scenery is like Lake Tahoe, with big trees and the wilderness all around.
Bear Valley's magic inspired one star to build this soaring chalet known locally as the Robert Conrad Hilton.
I think it's almost utopia. That's about as close to utopia as I want to get in this lifetime. If Bridges is here and I'm here, then you have to know there's a total balance. He probably has the biggest house in Bear Valley. I have the longest.
Another bright spot for Mount Reba and Bear Valley during the decade came from an energetic, fiercely competitive junior race team. Clayton and Ginger Rasmussen had 4 boys, all good skiers before they started grade school. Jeff, Kevin, Greg, Kyle were on the race team along with their cousin Denise. Jeff, Greg, and Kyle were the best in the Far West during the late 70s and early 80s. Denise had good results as well. All 3 boys were getting noticed by the U.S. national team when they were in their late high school years, but it was Kyle that achieved the pinnacle of ski racing competition success.
Hi, I'm Troy Roberts, and welcome to Hot Streak, where we profile young people on a hot streak. Venture to the Sierra to meet the youngest member of the United States ski team and top-ranked junior skier racer in the country. We're going to meet a down-home country boy who's on his way to becoming the downhill champion of America. In the rolling foothills of the Motherlode, just outside of Angels Camp, lies a 1,000-acre Arola cattle ranch. And one of the top hands on the ranch is Bill Arola's grandson, Kyle Rasmussen. Cattle ranching is a tough job, involving long hours in any kind of weather. And even though heavy rains bring extra work like tracking down strays, it also brings snow to the Sierra. And that's when this country boy puts ranching on hold and swaps his cowboy boots for a very different kind of outfit, that of a downhill racer.
Downhill is definitely the most dangerous out of 3 events. I've gone as fast as 85 miles an hour on skis. I think you definitely have to push it all the way to the limits.
At 17, Kyle Rasmussen is the youngest member of the United States ski team. He's the overall champion ski racer in his age group and the top skier in giant slalom and downhill.
have to have a lot of concentration. You got to think ahead of yourself. Because if you're just letting everything come to you, then it's not going to work out right. Something's going to go wrong. You got to be thinking ahead, and your mind's got to speed up as fast as you're going to be able to do it.
Kyle grew up here on Mount Reba, the high Sierra ski resort of Bear Valley. His family founded the resort nearly 20 years ago, and it's a family-run business to this day. It was here that Kyle pursued his dreams of becoming a ski racer and Olympic champion. As the third of 4 ski racing brothers, it was natural sibling rivalry that developed his winning attitude.
I think it was really important trying to chase my brothers because they were always beating me, and of course because I was the younger one, and it really pushed me a lot, always to try to beat them. And now I can finally do it.
We mentioned the soft track, and the crowd has arrived here in the start area. Number 1, Kyle Rasmussen of the United States, a 26-year-old from Angels Camp, California, drew number 1. Rasmussen finished 10th in the Friday race here in Bingen. Last year at the Olympics, he had a very good finish in the downhill portion of the combined, a 2nd place, and was 11th in the regular Olympic downhill. And actually he talked about retirement prior to his success in the Olympic Games.
Well, I'm really glad to see him not retire because he really is a talented skier, and he's been showing promise all year. That 10th was his best downhill result of his life. But today, running number 1, the American coaches and Kyle himself are a little bit suspect of it. We've had 2 inches of snow last night, which is going to accentuate the softness. You can see this nice ridge right here. The skiers are accelerating to about 70 miles per hour. Long swing turn to the left. Now he's going to be entering the Hoonchop area, a very difficult section, possibly the most difficult on this big downhill. 2 tight turns will slow the skiers down. A big right-hand turn here. Nice outside ski pressure. Back to the left before he flies off the Hoonchop. A big drop-off. Press the hands forward. Very nice. Now he must anticipate the Minch counter. Let the legs come up, land, Mingo, roll to the inside, carry the speed onto the flat. That is sweet right there.
Kyle Rasmussen, running number 1 from the United States on this 2.5-mile course. Generally takes about 2.5 minutes to go the distance here, the longest World Cup downhill there is.
And this is a portion of the course that you will not see in the coverage today, where the skiers go by the Wasserstation, skiing under the train tracks. Very unique to World Cup skiing. And this will lead them into the bottom section of the course. The speeds here are about 60 miles per hour. It's very important for the skiers to stay loose. A very nice aerodynamic position. But with the skis being loose, they can swim over the surface of the snow. Very important in gliding.
The American teammates of Kyle Rasmussen say he's the strongest of the downhillers, and he looks very strong here on this opening run of this year's Labrador.
But Tim Power goes beyond just his physical capabilities. I think that Kyle's biggest asset is his head. I mean, he's out here skiing, believing in himself, and he's also skiing for his 2 children and wife at home. There are other athletes that are married, but how many skiers have children? And when you get down, you just think about your children sometimes.
Rasmussen approaching the bottom part of the course. This is the real test at the Labrador because they've been going a long time, more than 2 minutes.
And the toughest turn is a big right-hander just before the finish. He was injured in training on Thursday. Pulled his left side of his groin right here. Tight line, clean, no problem there. Kyle skiing number 1. A perfect track, a great line.
Kyle Rasmussen to the finish line, sets the standard, 2:28.11. And that is exactly the same time as the race on Friday for Kyle Rasmussen. He finished 10th.
Well, no major mistakes today. He can't do anything about the number. The only thing he can do is just go out and ski as strongly as he can. The last turn above the finish, sweet skiing. Loaded up the middle of the ski carved perfectly, and he carried all this speed into the finish. Very nice. Watch the legs come up here.
Stand up as the top downhill racers in the world fail to catch him. Positions 6 through 10 saw another Austrian to make it 4 out of the top 6 and 2 Norwegians. Well, he heard Kyle Rasmussen say he wanted to call his wife, Linda. Here he is with a telephone.
Linda. I woke you up. I won. Can you believe it? How'd you know? Really? Really? I'm swamped here right now, but I started first, and won the damn race. I started first and won.
A tearfully joyous Kyle Rasmussen.
The 1990s saw some major changes within the ownership power base for both the village and the mountain. Mount Reba changed its name to Bear Valley Mountain Resort to end years of confusion. And the very nature of the winter sports industry was about to change as well. Snowboarders, an anomaly since the late 70s, and a little regarded blip on the lift ticket bottom line radar, was putting serious new juice into the revenue pipeline at most ski resorts. A vast majority of snowboarders came from the surfing and skateboard communities with little or no exposure to the mountain culture. This meant new meat for ski area grinders, and the whole big mountain scene was upon us. Bay Area developer and TBH partner Chuck Tennisgetter bought the lodge, gas station, and the commercial center. He also owned the ski resort as well, having purchased the Meadow in 1988 and partnered with PSI Nordic demo team member Paul Peterson in enlarging the Bear Valley Cross Country Center. Longtime season pass holder and beer baron Jim Bottomley and his engaging wife Jane purchased Mount Reba from the Rasmussens and quickly changed the name and brand to Bear Valley Mountain Resort. Jim brought in his two sons, Tim and Eric, to help run the operation. Phil Rotherham had left as ski school director to be replaced by veteran ski instructor Bob Schemke. Eventually, Mike Young would be the new director of skiing. Craig Rice became ski patrol director, but soon left after nearly 30 years on patrol. Ski patrol veteran and good guy Chris Aguirre continued with the strong patrol tradition. Kyle Rasmussen would leave the U.S. ski team, and local ski racer Samantha Faust became the most successful female speed event skier Bear Valley ever produced. Snowboarder Erin Sibley would make it onto the U.S. snowboard team. Telemark skiing was becoming more popular. The area was perfect for it, not only at the ski resort, but in the backcountry that surrounded Bear Valley. Telemark skiing was the perfect full-circle experience, harking back to the days of Snowshoe Thompson and his treks along the spine of the Sierras. Comedian Aaron Johnson had purchased the old Red Dog, naming it Base Camp, to help promote their telemark backcountry programs and their rock climbing in the summer. They also started a telemark festival that would realize hundreds of skiers each year. Snowmobiling was also becoming a huge component in the recreational tourism mix for Bear Valley. Groomed trails and scenic backcountry riding lured hundreds, if not thousands, to the area during the winter months of the 1990s. And Harry Schemke, the steward, the mountain man of the Central Sierras, died. By the year 2000, all the players were still in place, but during this decade, longtime ski patroller Malcolm Fouts and ski area operator Jim Bottomley would pass. Jim's son Tim would take over, and Clayton and his wife Ginger would also leave the mountain, the last of an era. Terrain parks with half pipes and rails and ski across courses were changing the landscape of the mountain. Everyone was shredding or trying to shred, being fueled by their morning double lattes or some other mind-altering vegetation variety. Smarter riders were wearing helmets. Not so smart ones were getting tag team in the first aid room. But going big was the battle cry, and going home in a neck brace was the result of not enough mute in your grab. This was not your mother's version of skiing, but then again, what is? Two local products were making their way onto the Extreme Games stage. Local snowmobiling talent Luke Stevens was tearing up the regional circuit and qualified to go to the 2003 X Games in Aspen. After his first games, many think that Luke will be a serious force to reckon with in the future. Another X Game alumni is free skier Mike Schemke, the grandson of Harry Schemke and son of former ski school director Bob. Mike qualified for the 2002 X Games, and last season showed his medal at the Paul Mitchell Invitational at Big Bear.
Schemke tried to dial in a win.
What's up? I'm Mike Schemke. We're here at the American Free Ski Tour, the last stop at big. I had a good grab, a nice tweak. Felt really good.
Is this pipe getting a little slow due to the sun, or is it still holding up nice?
It's getting a little slower, but you can definitely hold your speed down it. It's got a pump. I like this one a lot better than the Sugar Bowl. There are more features. It's more spread out. Jumps are a lot better.
This is Mike Schemke, one of my boys from Lake Tahoe. His girlfriend's out here. Everyone's rooting him on. He did really good in the qualifiers. I think he's going to make it. Let's see what he's got.
Approximately 1,982 years after the Tahoe's Mike Schemke scored some solid sevens with a 900 off the third hit. He closes with 36.3 points in a respectable fourth place.
Well, it was definitely really sunny earlier today, so everything kind of got soft. And this big cloud came in and kind of made everything ice, so you get a lot more speed now. Kind of got to tone it down. You don't want to overshoot these jumps. That was all right, I guess. We're all professionals, so no big deal.
As with most mountain resorts in America, it's the families that represent the best of the sport. The ability to share experiences and to pass on the love and respect of winter sports from generation to generation is a gift worth giving.
Yo la vi cantando en París. Ella quiso estar junto de él.
As the ski industry is becoming more polarized between the have and the have-not resorts, it is difficult to say where Bear should be. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Then again, what would Malcolm say? Local freerider Miles Fouts is Malcolm Fouts' grandson and represents the future of the Bear Valley Mountain experience. He loves the mountains, loves the sport, and embraces his Bear Valley heritage. Plus he likes to do non-stops down the Grizz on a powder day. This one's for Grandpa.
And after all, we're only ordinary men. And God only knows it's not what we would choose to do. Forward keep crying from the rear and the front rank General Sack and the lines on the map move from side to side. Black, 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 and blue. And who knows which is which, and who is who?